Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the special Board of Selectmen meeting for Tuesday, November 12th, 2019. Please rise, join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
One order of business, and we'll make a slight change. I'd like to hear a motion for approval of minutes of the regular meeting of October 15th. All right, any changes, corrections? Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, that carries. Before we get to item number one, I was discussing with my colleagues, this is a special meeting. Public input is not on the agenda, but in the interest of harmony? Oh, that's a good word. We're going to allow a brief period of time for public input, so if you do have anything to say, please be succinct. We do have to vacate this room by 7:30 because there's a meeting coming in right behind it, but I'll open up the floor for comments if there are any comments for this evening.
Anybody?
This might be a first. Okay, Mr. Legner.
Having read something in the paper today, there possibly being 5 things on the, on the square. I think that's a good compromise. And I agree with the ones that are going on there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Bill Hillman, 86 Walnut Hill Road. I just want to thank the Board of Selectmen for hopefully approving all the various displays. This is really very meaningful to me, having a menorah displayed in my hometown that has the Hebrew name, Bethel. It means a lot to me, and I know that Matthew and I have talked about this for a number of years, and I definitely want to thank over 50 people who donated $2,500 to make this real. We're going to have a nice Hanukkah lighting event on the 22nd, in addition to having the menorah display. So again, thank you.
Thank you very much. Any further comments?
I'd just like to say how thrilled I am that you've opened it up for public comment. Thank you for that.
What's your address?
Brad Colts, 1 Fairchild Drive.
I'm sorry, was that?
Brad Colts, 1 Fairchild Drive.
All right, any other comments? Yes.
Paula Antolini, Jacobs Lane. I'd like to thank you too for opening up public comment, but I'd also like to know how much you interact with the public on what's happening tonight. There have been meetings, but you're presenting a lot of new information tonight, and I don't know if you're planning on making a decision tonight, but you're presenting it to the people tonight. So I'd like to see a little more interaction and finding out how the general public, meaning a lot of people, feels about what you're going to present tonight.
How do you respond to that?
Well, I want to get, yes, Brian, I'll go that way. So Brian?
Brian Terzine in Long Meadow. I just want to thank you guys for opening up the public comment. I think it's great when we let the citizens speak. And the only thing I would ask this year and going forward is that we just remember the quaint charm of our New England town, and hopefully all the displays that come in match the character and the beauty of Bethel and enhance it rather than detract from it. So I just want to thank you again.
Cynthia McCorkindale, 19 Elgin Avenue. I think it's great that you opened up for comment. I know it's a special meeting. I know that you've made a policy, so it is your decision, but I agree with Brian. I have no idea what it's going to look like. Nobody does. So I just hope also that it's not distraction, that it's more in keeping with the universal message.
Okay. Any other comments?
Amy Santinello, 6 Bud Drive.
I'm sorry, what's your name?
Amy Santinello, 6 Bud Drive. And I appreciate you opening up for comments as well. This is my first town meeting, and the article has prompted me to come down, and I was hoping that you would open up for comments. And like the 2 townsmen to my left, I do agree that we need to keep the integrity of the town square. You know, there's been a tradition in Bethel for as long as I've been here, I've been here for 47 years. So I think we need to just make sure everything's done peacefully and nicely. I don't agree with what was done last year and how it's been approached, and it was a surprise to see the article in the paper. So I would have liked to be part of the committee that brought the decisions together and how everybody was selected. And I'd like to know more information in the future about how things are going to be moving forward.
Wait, Donald Morse Jr., 5 Bennett Drive Extension.
Meadow Drive?
5 Bennett Drive
Bennett.
Extension.
Bonnet?
Bennett. I came tonight because I feel like I've been watching a dog chase a car, and now the dog has caught the car and doesn't know what to do. I want to see how you guys can work through this debacle. I know people are not optimistic about the Winterfest because somehow it seems tainted. And I want to see what you're going to do. I want to see if you can manifest wisdom, to be honest with you. That was it.
Any other comments? Yes.
Karen Foster, 9 Burnhamwood Road. I just want to thank you.
What's your address?
9 Burnhamwood Road. I want to thank you for looking out for all citizens and making sure that our legal rights are protected, no matter what our beliefs or our thoughts. And thank you for protecting Bethel as well from future lawsuits and by following the law and the Constitution.
Thank you. Any other comments? Hearing none, we'll move on to item number 1, consideration of holiday display applications. I want to make a brief comment before we get into the nitty-gritty of it. The task of the committee that recommended the policy, that made recommendations to the Board of Selectmen, was to comply with the law, number 1, also be inclusive, number 2, and respectful of all traditions, not only the one that we have been discussing, but other traditions as well. The property in question belongs to all taxpayers of the town of Bethel. By law, they have a right to access it within the certain restrictions, within a policy that allows to anybody to use it. And the challenge that we faced was to create a policy that respected that. It's truly an all or none situation. And those of you who were at the meeting last June when we discussed this and formalized the policy will remember those are the exact words I used. If we allow any display, there has to be an equal and fair opportunity for others to do the same. And that was the task that we had before us when we formalized the policy. You will recall that when we formalized the policy, in the event there was insufficient room to put up everything that people wanted to display, then there would have had to have been a lottery to determine what would go where. As we sit here tonight, I'm not going to be recommending a lottery. We have 5 applications. They are, and my colleagues have all the paperwork on it. They have been vetted. They conform with the policy. Insurance forms have been submitted. Images have been submitted. So they are the creche, which is the traditional one that was on display on the screen last year. Mr. Hillman's menorah, and thank you for your fundraising on that. It's called the Atheist Banner, but basically it says Happy Holidays from your friendly atheist neighbors. That is application number 3. That is also within the permitted guidelines. Then 2 new banners, and these are relatively small. One simply says peace, and the other one says human light. And do you have a copy of that one? Because there's some other verbiage on it that I want to read to the audience. I don't remember what it said. It says, happy human light, reason, compassion, hope. And it has a symbol that looks like that. So I personally find these to be in conformance with the policy that was outlined last summer. I'm going to make a motion that all 5 displays be approved. There's going to be a second motion because we do have to determine time frame when they're going to go up. and some other things related to that. But the first motion that I would like to put on the floor is that these 5 displays be allowed on the green. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, floor is open for discussion.
Okay, I'll start out. All of you know that I really supported the entire thing here. To those who said, you question whether or not we want to do the right thing. The right thing has been always the right thing for Bethel, as far as I'm concerned. It's been a tradition, and it's something that I do not want to change. As long as I've been here in Bethel for approximately 43 years, 1976, I moved in, that creche was there. The new additions, they're fine, they're in good taste, and that's what it's all about, good taste. It's representing the people, it has a good message, and if there be anything foul there, believe me, I'll be the first one to raise my hand and say, it's out. And the other issue that I'd just like to have people understand, it's my personal opinion, the Board of Selectmen are the people that determine what goes on public land, okay? And I stand by that pretty solidly. So, I honestly think this is good. This is gonna bring the community together more so probably. So, this is my position. If it's in good taste, fine, and we're there.
Yes. I was opposed to the original proposal of having the displays on the green. I voted against the motion at the Board of Selectmen's meeting. And I'm a native of the town, so I've been here 72 years. And around the 40-year mark is when the creche went on that green there. I remember it well because my dad used to decorate the tree for the town. I'm going to vote no against the motion just because of I was against the original motion, and I have to follow through with my reasons for the original motions. Thank you.
Any other comments? Okay, I'll try your minds. We have a motion on the floor to approve the 5 display applications that are currently before us. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And those opposed?
Nay.
Okay. That motion carries on a 2-to-1 margin, and I thank you for your involvement, both of you. These are not easy things to tackle, and I appreciate the care and thought that has gone into them. Okay, the second thing has to do with the time frame, and here's the dilemma. I'm not going to put a motion on the floor just yet, but I will tell you what my recommendation is. The tradition is to do the tree lighting at the green on the Friday after Thanksgiving, so which this year would be Friday the 29th. The Park and Rec Department has requested that if the tree lighting ceremony and festivities are going to occur at that time, as they have in the past, that the holiday displays not be permitted to go up until the following morning. And this is strictly for safety. Because, in fact, the selectmen, I will tell the audience, the selectmen have been getting concerned about safety for the last few years, ever since Mr. Kravis, our former board chair, was hit by a car. We have Santa arrives on a fire truck. The square is crowded with hundreds of children and other holiday revelers. And Park and Rec is worried about people, just not enough room for everything that goes on there. So I'm gonna, before I make a motion, I'm gonna toss that out for your consideration, because Rich had long considered, in fact, I think you mentioned it 3 or 4 years ago, moving the tree lighting with a temporary tree to the front lawn and having Santa, front lawn of this building, and then having Santa come inside. And I believe the Chamber of Commerce is gonna have Santa inside anyway this year. So what is your, do you have any thoughts on that before we proceed?
Well, I think if we move the tree lighting to the municipal center and Santa Claus is going to be inside, that they could put up their displays so people could see their displays.
You put them up earlier then?
Earlier, so that they can see them while they're downtown.
Okay.
But as I expressed in the past, I've been out there with when the fire truck comes down the side street there, and people with strollers and little children out in the road. I really feel that someone's going to get hurt there. anytime soon. I think that with School Street could be closed off, Santa Claus comes down the fire truck, it could be a walkway. People can walk down School Street to the Municipal Center for the tree lighting. I'd like to see it moved.
Okay. You have any thoughts on that?
Tradition again comes into my hat.
It does, it
Yeah.
does.
From what I understand now, and I got Brad Colts here, I believe, Brad, in Chamber of Commerce, you've already planned to have everything centered around P.T. Barnum Square, correct?
I can only speak to the plans up until my departure from the chamber about a week and a half ago. I am no longer present at the chamber.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know that.
That's all right. I can tell you what the plan was, but I would recommend it, and after I can give you who you might want to speak with about that.
Well, I spoke with Pat today, if you'd rather have me.
If you have, she may have changed.
Yeah,
it.
get you off the hook on that.
Yeah, thank
because
you.
you're- I did speak with one of the officers of the board, of the directors, board of directors for the chamber. Their plan was to continue with the tree lighting at P.T. Barnum.
Okay.
They do have a food vendor, I think a soup, there'll be things being distributed, there'll be the high school choir, there'll be a booth set up for the DJ. So again, it's
At P.T. Barnum.
at P.T. Barnum. So their plan right now is to continue with that tradition of doing the tree lighting at P.T. Barnum. And so if we were going to do a tree lighting elsewhere, it would, there's a lot of things that would have to occur. Rich and I were talking about that earlier. You'd have to get a tree, light, find money to put lights on it, and that's not something that we have, discretionary budget to do right now. So I think that longer term, that's the best way to go, is to get people out of the square and put them onto the lawn where you can more easily block off School Street, and then it's a much safer environment for kids. But we have a short period of time. I'm not sure that they can do that, but I can't speak on the chamber either. That would be entirely up to them.
I can't tell you what happened last year.
What's that?
After the lighting, Santa moved to the municipal building.
Yeah.
Went inside to the general purpose room, and that's where all the kids and families came.
Mhm.
There was nothing but positive feedback about that part of the meeting. So,
Oh,
it was, yeah.
so you're saying Santa's going to be over here in
He's going to be in this building.
this building?
Yeah.
And the choirs and all that will be on P.T. Barnum?
That's their plan right now, and, to Rich's point earlier, we could ask them to reconsider that and to move it to the front lawn.
But, and what did Pat just say?
Well, I didn't ask her if it would, I didn't ask her to move, I just asked, I said, what are your plans? So we might have to make a motion that gives them the flexibility. Say, if you can move it, then we'll,
Fine.
okay.
I'll go with the flexibility.
Okay, all right, then I'm going to put a motion on the floor. It's going to be a two-part motion. I move to permit the displays beginning, hold on a second. What's the date of the week before Thanksgiving?
That will be the week of the 17th.
Week of the 18th, Monday the 18th.
No.
Mon-
Oh,
The Thanksgiving's late this
Thanksgiving
year.
is the 28th.
I think it's the
Oh,
24th.
okay. All right, yeah,
24th.
you're right. Oh,
23rd,
The
24th.
25th, week of the 25th, okay. Okay, so, I'm gonna make a motion, let me start over. I'm gonna make a motion that that the displays be permitted from Saturday the 30th, from the morning of Saturday the 30th of November, unless the Chamber of Commerce is able to move the tree lighting ceremony to the front lawn, in which case the displays could be permitted anytime after the 25th of November. Yes?
You're talking about all the displays with the exception of the United Methodist Church's display.
With the exception of?
Well, isn't that the United Methodist Church for the crush?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you
well,
don't
that
say
would-
that in your motion.
No,
Well, you
that-
said all.
All five.
Well, how are they gonna celebrate on Friday, the 29th then? If you tell them they can't.
They wouldn't be able to if all that, they wouldn't be, we wouldn't, Park and Rec Department has asked that we keep the area open
Right.
for all of the tree lighting ceremony with all the festivities that go on there for safety reasons.
Okay.
So they're asking that none of those displays be placed until Saturday morning.
And that includes the creche?
Yes, that includes the creche.
Okay. That's not.
Now, if we can work with the chamber to move the tree lighting, say to the gazebo, then that wouldn't be necessary. That's, is that motion, did I state that well enough?
I'd be opposed to that one.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, well, how do you think we can solve that then?
The tree right now, it's too soon to change things that rapidly here in town. I would prefer to see the tree lighting in P.T. Barnum Square.
Okay.
If you want to do it next year, fine, at least you can plan ahead and the community will know this. Here we are roughly 2.5 or 3 weeks away. It just rubs me the wrong way.
Okay.
I just would like to leave it as is, including the displays.
Okay, so even though Park and Rec has raised his concern about safety?
Well, yes, I think if we get the police department just to block off P.T. Barnum completely, I know they have. I know there's overflow, but I just don't like the idea of scrapping a tradition so rapidly.
Okay. All right, you want to make a motion?
Leave it as is.
Okay, so displays would be permitted to go up
Yeah.
the week before Thanksgiving,
Yep.
after the 25th, correct? Okay,
I'll second it, just to second it.
okay. Further comments?
I disagree. I'll vote no.
All right, so we have a motion on the floor to permit it. All right,
You have the possibility of the displays being damaged with that crowd of people there.
that's also true. Well, I'm going to support the motion with reservations, and I'm going to discuss with the Park and Rec Department to see what safety measures can be taken to get through this one. And then I do believe that we have to make a more substantial change next year. So
Right.
those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed?
Nay.
Okay. Thank you very much. That concludes item number 1.
Could I do a point of information on that before you close it?
No discussion.
I can't?
No.
No, not discussion, I just have a point of information.
Let's do that. We've got a tight time to.
Yeah,
see
but
me
this is
after.
important.
See-
No,
see
no,
me-
this
see
is
me after,
important.
please.
I'd like you to identify who the groups are that are the other two
I
secular.
will give that to you afterwards.
No,
but
I would like everybody to know.
They can find it out
And
later.
also,
I'm
if-
not going to do it now, Paula.
Okay, I have a second point. And also, 1/3 of the property was supposed to be for the displays, so
Paula, we have no discussion, debate, or public input.
I'm asking for a point of order clarification,
There's no point of order.
point of
I'm going to move on
information.
to item number 2.
You're not going to give us the names of the organizations?
No, I am not. And we are going to move on with this agenda. We have a tight schedule.
You don't think the public deserves the
Paula,
names?
we're going to recess this and ask you to leave if you don't stop. Thank you. Item number 2, consideration of approval of Bethel Police Department request for Motorola portable radios. You will remember that with the capital non-recurring budget item last